All three dresses suit you well, honey. Do you like it? We'll get them if you like it. The two saleswomen no longer dared to look down on Jack. They merely stood there pitifully. Hearing Jack's words, Selena blushed. She was still a little unused to the term honey. I still think it's too expensive. By then, Selena had already changed back into her clothes. She took a look at the three dresses, then replied with a smile. It's the thought that counts. One dress that will do. No need for that many.
Just admit that you're poor and drop the act. Don't even think of leaving the store if you can't pay up today. Karen, the rich woman, started sneering at them when the saleswomen heard those words. They felt delighted. These three poor blokes are acting so insolent even. Though they're poor, let's see how you deal with it now that you met a stronger figure.
However, out of their expectations, Jack passed the three dresses to the saleswoman that he slapped earlier. Just these three. Pack them up for me. You're really buying? The total is almost $200,000, the woman asked, out of surprise, then finally led the way after a moment, saying, Sir, this way please.
Jack followed along and took out a gold card. The numbers on the card were all 8s. Is it usable? The saleswoman frowned, unable to resist from muttering. It was her first time seeing such a card. Why do you keep spewing nonsense? It's password-free for payments under $10 billion. Jack gave her an impatient look, then dashingly waved at Selena, who was waiting for him. The saleswoman took a big gulp of air. Somehow, she still felt that this man before him was lying. Even the most powerful black card that she knew of was only limited to password-free transactions under $10 million. Meanwhile, this person was telling her that his card allowed for password-free transactions under 10 billion. If that was not a lie, what was? However, she tried her best to smile and ran the card through the reader. Surprisingly, the transaction was successful instantly. Oh, my God. He was telling the truth. The beautiful saleswoman swallowed hard. Even if that was a lie, the card was still capable of password-free transactions for that sum of money. This person's identity was surely extraordinary. Moreover, this type of customer would definitely be considered VIP amongst VIP at the banks. Sir, here you go. Please come again! Exclamation mark, double quotes. It was rare for them to meet such a rich customer. The beautiful saleswoman respectfully passed the card back to Jack and bowed slightly, trying to appease him. What's wrong? Didn't you justice us for being poor? You are still asking us to come again? Jack smiled coldly as he retrieved his card. It's all a misunderstanding. I didn't expect you to keep such a low profile. The beautiful saleswoman answered with a smile, then added, if you're making similar purchases here every day, I don't mind getting slapped. BYU again. After all, those 3 dresses gave them quite a good commission, especially the one costing over $100,000. Most people could not afford it. Jack could not be bothered with her. He then approached Selena and Joan. Let's go, Ma. We'll go shop somewhere else and see if there are any that suit you. Are you serious? You really settled the bill? Karen stood in front of the door waiting to teach Jack a lesson. When she saw the saleswoman escorting Jack out delightfully, she was flabbergasted. Although she did not lack wealth, she would still feel the pain if she spent $200,000 in one go. Moreover, she had just uttered some mean words. A good dog doesn't block the way. Move aside, Jack stated coldly as he reached the door and stared at those bodyguards. Brat, you are quite insolent. The leader of the bodyguards was aggravated. He took a step forward and sent a punch right at Jack's face. However, he was sent flying the very next instant, landing heavily on the floor. The rest of the bodyguards were stunned. This brat seemed to be a capable fighter. What are you doing standing there? Go get him. Damn it. How dare he hit my man? That's just disrespecting me, Karen. Karen snapped her fingers and barked her orders. Upon witnessing that, she was furious.
Unfortunately, the next moment she was speechless. Her rather capable bodyguards that went through special training were all lying on the floor, unable to even touch his clothes. Karen, would you like to try? Jack stared, coldly at Karen, curling his finger invitingly at her. "It's all a misunderstanding, brother. I can see that you're quite the capable fighter. Why don't you be my bodyguard? I'll pay you." Karen smiled awkwardly. If her bodyguards were no match for Jack, what could she, a weak little girl, do? She would probably die from a single kick. "Be your bodyguard? Ha! You're overestimating yourself." To Jack, that offer was a joke. He, the supreme warrior, master of the 9 gods of war, and his countless contributions in the war, falling low enough to be someone's bodyguard? "Son, let's get going." Joan was scared. It was the first time she witnessed such a scene. However, her own son's strength was truly amazing. A group like that was not his match. "Let's go. Ma, the clothes in that store would suit you." "Don't bother. You've already spent so much money. Don't use up all your rewards." "It's fine, Ma. Your son wants to buy some clothes for you. Isn't that the right thing to do?" After a moment, Selina received a call. After answering it, her expression turned extremely ugly. "What's wrong, honey?" Seeing that, Jack asked immediately, "Did you beat up Ivan Taylor?" Selina's expression was cold. Before Jack could explain, she reprimanded angrily, "Why, do you like to fight so much? Yes, you're amazing. After being a soldier for a few years, you're now very powerful, right? You'll just beat up whoever that offends. You, isn't it?" "Jack, look at you. That Ivan is someone. We can't afford to offend. He's very petty. Now that you've offended him, we're not going to live in peace in the future." Joan sighed. Ivan is the main reason for Selina, being unemployed all these while. Right now, he's the director of Taylor Group. As long as he sends a word in the market, who would dare to attract trouble by hiring Selina? But he really deserves it. If not because of his identity as a member of the Taylor family and Selina's cousin, he would be long dead. Jack turned expressionless, then said, "That bastard. When I came back, I didn't know you were kicked out of the Taylor family. I met Ivan and he dared to force Kylie to eat buns that he stomped on. How could I tolerate that?" "What?" Hearing that, Selina was shocked. "That bastard. He's really going overboard. How dare he treat Kylie like that?" Having said that, she looked toward Jack, finally, realizing that she had wrongfully blamed him. "I'm sorry. I didn't know it was for that reason, that you beat him up. However, Grandpa is furious at the moment and requested for us to head over. My parents are already rushing over. They asked us to hurry up." "What's there to be scared of? It's their fault to start with. I've not even begun settling the matter of them kicking you, guys out of the Taylor family." Jack harumphed, then said, "Let's go." "Settle the matter? How do you plan to settle this? For that matter, I'm at fault too. Furthermore, Master Taylor is still my grandfather. Are you planning to beat him up?" Selina smiled bitterly, then said, "This time, you come with us and just stay, quiet in a corner. After so many years, Grandpa's temper should have improved. Maybe a few good words will stop them from pursuing this matter." "All right. I'll try my best to follow your instructions and avoid acting. Otherwise, you'll complain that I'm being too violent." Jack laughed bitterly. He wanted to see, for himself, how the people from the Taylor family would treat him without knowing his identity. Furthermore, the reason he came back this time was not to be the supreme warrior. He only wished to peacefully accompany his woman and care for his mother, living life comfortably. Taking a taxi, the group of 3 quickly arrived at the gates of Taylor residence. That brat is really brazen to actually hit. Young Master Taylor. Didn't he know that? Young Master Taylor was extremely petty. That's right. I'm afraid this won't end well. He's just a soldier, a stinking live-in son-in-law. He should consider his own identity. That's right. I'm afraid this won't end well. He's just a soldier, a stinking live-in son-in-law. He should consider his own identity. They overheard the quiet exchange of the two, guards at the gate just as they got out of the car. However, when the guards noticed their arrival, they immediately kept quiet. One of them smiled. "Miss Selina, you're back. We'll inform the master, and old master right away." "No need. We'll go by ourselves." Selina looked at the gates stoically, with complex feelings. She had numerous wonderful memories of her childhood here. Unexpectedly, after growing up, the Taylor family turned out to be filled with so much political intrigue. To her, the bigger surprise was the fact that she would, one day, be kicked out of this place. After hesitating for a moment, the trio entered slowly. Just as they reached the gate of the old master's villa, they could hear the voices of discussion coming from within. "That Jack is too much. Who does he think he is to hit Ivan? That's right. He's just a soldier of a few years. Does he think he's some big shot now? How can a sparrow transform into a phoenix?" Most importantly, Ivan was suffering from fractured bones. I heard that he was beaten to the point of unconsciousness. A few relatives of the Taylor family were having a heated discussion, as though Jack was a condemned sinner. "Yes, that's right. That brat is in the wrong. I'm so pissed." Just as Selina was about to enter, Fiona's voice could be heard. Selina frowned immediately. Her outstretched hand paused in the air. Right at that moment, Fiona's voice was heard once more. "You might not know this, but earlier today, he actually slapped Ken Clark, the Clark family's young master, and caused him to lose 3 teeth. Young Master Clark, that young master, Clark that fancies your Selina all this while, he went looking for you." "Old master," Taylor could not help but ask. "I know, right?" He thought that Jack was surely dead and hoped that Selina would divorce Jack so that he could marry Selina. Moreover, he also mentioned that he does not mind about Kylie's incident. Who could have known that Jack would suddenly come back at that time? Fiona grew more agitated over time. This time, I'm afraid the Clark family won't let it go that easily. Selina could not bear listening on, pushing straight through the door with Jack and Joan with her. "Ma, I won't accept Ken's proposal. He's a fake gentleman. Do you really think that he would be nice to me after getting married? By that time, I don't know how much frustration I'll have to go through." "Selina, you're finally back. If you don't give me a proper resolution for today's matter, I won't let this go." Upon seeing Jack and Selina's arrival, Ivan, who had one hand in bandages, stared at them angrily with his eyes wide open. "Ivan, are you without fault? You had Kylie eat the buns that you threw on the floor and stomped on. Do you think that Jack, as a father, could tolerate that?" Selina's expression darkened, then looked at old Master Taylor and said, "Grandpa, Jack can't be blamed for this matter. Ivan was really going overboard." "Ivan, is that the case?" Old Master Taylor was not an unreasonable person. He looked at Ivan and asked slowly. Ivan immediately retorted, "How is that possible? I was only joking, and Jack coincidentally saw it. Who knew he would act without even saying anything? He even forced me to eat that bun." "Ivan Taylor, if you continue to spew nonsense, I'll break your other arm." Beside her, Jack could no longer bear to watch it. Ivan was clearly lying blatantly. Hearing those words, Ivan took a few steps back. It was obvious that he was scared. However, remembering that they were in Taylor residence and Jack was just a live-in son-in-law, he probably would not dare do anything with this many witnesses. With his newfound confidence, he took a step forward. "You guys take a look at how insolent this brat is. He's just a live-in son-in-law, not even a Taylor. yet he dared to utter such words in front of everyone. Ivan turned around and shot a look at Jack. The words that Jack was about to say were held back. He had already caused Selina to suffer through so many years of hardships. For Selina's sake, he did not wish to complicate matters. Furthermore, he only wanted to enjoy a peaceful life. Jack, you're too brazen. If not for the $1 million we gave you, your mother won't be able to afford the surgery, and died. Not only are you ungrateful, but you also repaid kindness with malice and treat our Taylor family this way. One of the relatives of the Taylor family immediately started their accusations. That's right. If it's not for us, would his mother still be around? Another elder was similarly putting up airs, acting high and mighty. In their eyes, Jack and Joan were outsiders, penniless people of the lower class. If not for Selina being pregnant with that bastard child, Jack would have nothing to do with their Taylor family. Right then, one of the girls from the Taylor family in her 20s, Cecilia Taylor, noticed the shopping bag in Joan's hand. Are my eyes playing tricks on me? That is all Gucci stuff. Cecilia walked forward and studied Joan, who was still in her cleaner's uniform, closely, then said disdainfully, "Did you rob or steal these?" With Cecilia pointing it out, everyone immediately took notice of those shopping bags. They were obviously Gucci. Was that something they could even afford? My son bought it for me and Selina. Although we're poor, we have always been honorable. There's no way we would resort to stealing or robbing. Honorable? If you're not wearing such clothing, I might just believe it. Cecilia sneered, then added, "There should be a few dresses in there. From the looks of it, some were bought for Selina, right? I'm guessing the total should be some tens of $1,000s. Cecilia commented as she looked through the content. She suddenly saw a dress and took it out of the bag. It can't be. This is a limited edition worldwide. This dress is over $100,000. It's the newest model from Gucci. Hearing those words, several people from the Taylor family had a shocked expression. It was not that they could not afford that dress, but it was weird that Jack's group could afford it. Moreover, it was not some high-end watch or jade pieces, but just a dress. Even those from the Taylor family would think twice before spending hundreds and thousands of dollars. Put the dress back. I don't want your hand dirtying Selina's dress. Upon seeing her taking the dress out, Jack's expression darkened as he issued the warning. Cecilia was astonished, then proceeded to put it back into the bag. However, she soon started smiling. I know. You must have bought fake goods. Tisk, it does seem authentic. I almost believed it. The others came to a sudden realization. That's right. How can they afford international branded items? What a joke. What else could it be if not high-quality imitation? Cecilia, its authenticity has nothing to do with you, does it? This is my husband's gift for me. As long as it's from him, I'll like it, regardless of its authenticity. Upon hearing the unpleasant words she had said, Selina replied sarcastically, Unlike some people without a boyfriend despite their advanced age. Could it be that you're jealous of me? You. Cecilia was triggered. Although her appearance was not bad, she indeed had no boyfriend. Selina's word caused her great discomfort. She then sneered, I'm jealous. Of you? That's rich. Should I be jealous of you being kicked out of the Taylor family like trash? I don't have a boyfriend because I want to find a rich man, unlike someone cheap enough to just marry a delivery boy. By that point, Cecilia added more venomous comments. Moreover, the wedding ceremony was lackluster. There wasn't even a betrothal gift. What a shame it was for our Taylor family. So what if I'm willing? That's none of your business. This is my own choice to make. Selina was fighting back fiercely, almost breaking her ladylike persona. Sure, of course. Some people are happy. With their degeneracy, what can we do about it? Cecilia shrugged. Well, that kind of hardship is something this lady will never experience. Enough! Finally, old Master Taylor roared, stoically. The old master was quite advanced in age, but his presence silenced the room immediately. He walked up to Jack, checking him out carefully. For some reason, he felt that this young man had undergone a complete transformation. Just him standing there gave off an aura that should not be trifled with. Was he still the same young man that begged him for $1 million to treat his mother's disease from 5 years ago? He thought for a moment, then finally spoke. Up. Tell me, how much money should I pay? You to leave Selina alone and stop bugging her. The old master knew full well of Selina's obsession with the child. Selina's refusal for a divorce was definitely because of the child. However, he could do it by approaching Jack. Hearing that, Selina frowned and looked at Jack worryingly. After all, with the power of money, it was hard to say. Moreover, despite them being officially married, there were hardly any feelings between them. Jack was silent. Money? Would I care for those things now? Furthermore, 5 years ago, if not for saving his mother, he would never beg someone for merely $1 million. Old master, I'm afraid you'll be disappointed. Selina is my woman. For me and my child, she had suffered through 5 years of hardship. It's impossible for me to leave them. Jack replied firmly with a smile. Hearing those words, Selina's heart was filled with warmth. The past 5 years of waiting was not in vain. The old master quickly took out a check and signed his name, then passed it to Jack. Our Taylor family does not like you as our live-in son-in-law. Back then, you've promised to fake the marriage with Selina, to take Ivan's place on the battlefield. I'm not killing you this time because of your relationship with Selina and Kylie. However, you must leave. Write whatever number you wish. You can cash it in at any bank in Eastfield. Furthermore, I can let the matter of you beating up Ivan slide. It could be said that from the old master's perspective, he had already made a huge compromise. Upon hearing that, Ivan was furious. He quickly stepped forward and stated, Grandpa, we can just kill him. He's broken. My arm. Shut up. Who would have thought that old Master Taylor would turn around to yell at him? Ivan Taylor, do you think I don't know what you've done in secret? You only know that my health is in decline and rarely leave the house, isn't it? I, Zeus. Taylor might be old, but I'm not blind. Ever since you've been the director, our company's performance has been in decline for the past few years. I'm just too tired to berate you. Old Master Taylor then added, I can't be bothered with you picking on Selina, as I was also angry with her giving birth to a child with him. However, Kylie is Selina's daughter. She's only 4 years old. How dare you feed her with buns that you stomped on? I can't bear to imagine such an incident. Dad, regardless, Jack can't beat Ivan up, just because of that, right? Furthermore, these are just empty accusations from Jack. Who knows if he might be lying? Theodore Taylor, master of the Taylor family and Ivan's father, interjected as he stepped forward. Is that so? Would you dare to let me investigate the matter to see if it really happened? Old Master Taylor's words shut Theodore up. He then added, You play a big part in Ivan's current behavior of mixing around with those questionable women. He's under your care. We're just a third-class aristocratic family. It took us a lot of effort to get us here. Aren't you afraid that our Taylor family might one day be ruined in the hands of your son? Grandpa, How is that possible? I go out for drinks to entertain my clients. It's for my job. Ivan laughed awkwardly, then added, Furthermore, our company's performance is quite good for the past 2 months. You need to believe in me. This year we'll be making a huge profit and cover for our losses in the past. Hearing that, Jack's heart felt a lot better. It would seem that the old master kicked Selina out mainly due to his annoyance of Selina marrying a nameless person like him. However, 5 years have passed. His anger should mostly subside. Furthermore, he was probably keeping tabs on Selina and Kylie's situation. All in all, old Master Taylor still cared for his granddaughter. Here, sign it. As for the number, just write whatever you wish. With that, we'll call it even. Old Master Taylor was having mixed feelings. Jack's guess was almost spot on. The old master was a person that cared greatly about his reputation. Back then, he had Jack marry into the Taylor family to prevent Ivan from being enlisted. That itself was already something that affected the Taylor family's reputation. He never expected an even greater shame to come. Later on, Jack was only married to Selina for a day when he got enlisted the very next day. However, Selina became pregnant soon after. He was aware that Selina had gotten drunk that night. He even suspected that it could have been Jack that forced himself on Selina. Never did he expect Selina to claim that it was voluntary. That matter almost gave him a heart attack. That was why, in a fit of rage, he kicked Selina, her parents, and her 14-year-old brother out of the Taylor residence. As for Selina's inability to be employed and the restrictions placed on her, that was the work of Ivan. Are you sure I can write any amount? Jack was surprised for a moment and then asked while snickering, Of course, just fill it. Seeing how Jack was really moved by money, old master Taylor's heart rejoiced. Selina's beauty was above others. Furthermore, she was talented in business matters. As long as she divorced Jack, she would have no problem looking for a wealthy partner. In fact, he heard that young Master Clark was trying to court Selina. Of course, the old master will keep his words. Fill it in quickly, said Fiona. Fiona was extremely excited upon hearing their exchange. She quickly approached the dumbfounded Selina. Daughter, look, I've told you that he will let you down. You wanted to keep the child for him and wait for 5 years. You suffered 5 years of that hardship, yet he still ended up choosing money. This is a materialistic world. Selina stood there in a daze. She felt lost. All those years spent waiting, all those suffering in the end. Jack, are you stupid? Where else can you find such a wonderful wife? Are you really giving up your wife and daughter for money? Selina suffered 5 years of that hardship. All those scorn and ridicule she had to endure. She even had to collect trash and gave up looking for a job. Joan stepped forward and looked at Jack, her eyes filled with disappointment. We can't be heartless. Ma, let him be. Selina's eyes were filled with despair, complete despair. The 5 difficult years she endured came to such a conclusion. You see, Selina, all men are hopeless. I've told you to abort the child, yet you didn't listen. Cecilia then added out of the blue. Sigh, although I can't find a boyfriend, it's still better than you, finding an undependable one. Selina's eyes were tearing up. She looked at Jack, feeling hopeless. Have you decided? Jack smiled. I've decided. Having said that, he started scribbling on the check. He then quickly passed the check back. I'm done. You told me to fill it up. Of course, I'll keep my word. Seeing Jack choosing money, Zeus's gaze showed a hint of disappointment. At first, he had come to respect Jack a little bit more. He was thinking if Jack were to show some capabilities and treat his granddaughter, well, that would also be acceptable. Unfortunately, Jack failed. However, he froze up after he looked at the check. On the check, it was written with a string of numbers: 999999999999999999. At the end of the dot string of numbers, it was followed by dot ellipsis. Brat, are you trolling me? Zeus' expression darkened, turning extremely scary. Even Theodore, master of the Taylor family, went forward to have a look at the check, exclaiming, Brat, what's the meaning of this? You think this is a joke? What's the matter? Cecilia was similarly surprised. She hurried over to take a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Why is it ending with an ellipsis? How much money is this? Ha ha, old Master Taylor, you told me to. Write as I like. Can you afford the figure I filled in? At that moment, Jack burst out laughing. He approached Selina and held on to her hand, stating in a serious tone, My wife waited 5 full years for me, a mere delivery boy. She suffered all those hardships, yet you're trying to measure it with money? She's priceless, hence you can't afford the price I'm asking for. You rascal! Selina was trapped in between anger and amusement. However, her heart was filled with happiness. Just a second ago, she thought Jack was about to take the money and divorce her, leaving her and her daughter behind. It turns out that he had written countless nines on that check and even added ellipsis in the dot end. Let me see. Let me see. Joan was originally quite angry. Hearing the dot conversation, she immediately reached for the check. After taking a look, she excitedly passed it to Selina. Selina, look, this is your status in my son's heart. You're priceless. Mom, I know, Selina blushed. The few years of waiting turned out to be worth it. This man did not let her down. How dare you toy with our Taylor family? Jack, you're courting death. Guards, cripple him and throw him out of here. Theodore stepped forward and bellowed in rage. Is this a fight? I'm sorry, but I'm very good at that now, Jack replied after hearing that. He then stated with a smile on his face, In the past 5 years, I'm not sure how many mountains will form from the enemies that I've killed. There were many experts within their ranks, yet they all died in my hands. There were a few times I almost died, but I managed to survive because I know that someone is waiting for me back home. I can't die. When Jack made his statement, he gave off a strong aura. As he stood there, he seemed like a king. Today, I'll let those who dare to act against me know what it's like to make a grave mistake. What did I tell you before coming over? Surprisingly, Selina's face turned dark as she reprimanded Jack in a menacing voice. She felt that ever since Jack had been a soldier, he had grown more capable. However, he was just too boastful. Moreover, they were in the Taylor family. He was just a live-in son-in-law. How could he take action against her own family members? Jack finally remembered his promise with Selina and immediately changed to an awkward laugh. I'm just joking. However, the bodyguards outside the door had already rushed in. Get out! Just as the bodyguards were about to act, Old Master Taylor gave a stern order. The bodyguards exchanged glances, then quickly went out. Dad, this brat is toying with us. Can't you see that? Theodore was extremely frustrated. However, they could not disobey the old master's orders. Although he was the master of this household, and his son was the director of Taylor Group, the old master was the one truly in charge. All important matters of the Taylor family had to go through him. He's not toying with us. I did tell him to fill as he wished. It's just that we can't afford that price. Old master. Taylor laughed bitterly, then spoke. Jack, this has gone on for 5 years. My granddaughter had also suffered many hardships. Since you're both truly in love and Kylie has grown, I'm fine with not forcing you through a divorce. Having said that, old Master Taylor's tone took a sudden change. However, this can't be. Grandpa is acknowledging Jack's identity as the son-in-law of the Taylor family. Upon hearing the old master's words, some of the Taylor family members had a shocked expression on their faces. Grandpa used to pamper Selina. It'd seem that Grandpa's anger had subsided after all these years. Within Selina's body still flows the blood of our Taylor family, after all. A member of the Taylor family speculated quietly in his mind. Grandpa! Selina pursed her red lips and felt her tears surfacing. She knew her. Grandfather had been keeping tabs on her, in secret. The old man was only unable to lower himself all this while. For Zeus Taylor, his reputation was more important than anything else. However, Jack scowled. He knew that it would not be that simple. However, the matter of you injuring Ivan's arm can't be settled just like that. The old man's tone changed once, more as he continued. You need to pay compensation. That's right. Grandpa's right. My arm is fractured. The doctor said that my arm will take at least 1 to 2 months to recover, and that's with the best medicine. How about this? I'll give you 1 month's time, Jack. 1 month later is, coincidentally, my 70th birthday. If you can come up with $10 million in a month, I'll acknowledge that you're the Taylor family's son-in-law. However, if you fail to produce the money, then you'll have to divorce Selina, as that would prove that you lack the ability unworthy of being with Selina. Furthermore, Ivan's hand is rendered in such a state because of you. You need to compensate him with $10 million. How's that? The old master stared at Jack and declared authoritatively. Grandpa, aren't you intentionally making it difficult for him? He was just a delivery boy. Now that he's a soldier for 5 years and returned from the battlefield, how can he cough up that amount of money in 1 month? Selina was worried when she heard the proposition. What difference was that from chasing Jack away? It was just a different method. Old master, can you lower the amount? That's too much. He can't even produce $1 million, much less $10 million. Joan's expression was ugly. She did not wish to miss her chance on such a wonderful daughter-in-law. No reduction. If he can't even produce $10 million, how can he be worthy of my daughter? It was Fiona who interjected strongly. She then pushed on. If he can earn $10 million, that can be the betrothal gift for my daughter. When the time comes, that money must be passed to me, or I'll never recognize him as our son-in-law. That won't work. Ivan spoke up. If he can produce $10 million, I should be getting it as compensation. I can't just get hit for nothing, can I? No way. Your treatment won't total up to $10 million. There was no way Fiona would let this go. She had suffered in poverty for so many years. If she had $10 million, she could live her life comfortably. The $10 million that Grandpa mentioned was for compensation, not a betrothal gift. Can't you understand? Ivan laughed happily. His words managed to stump Fiona. In 1 month, right? Jack contemplated, then stated, how about this? 1 month. From now, on Grandpa's 70th birthday, I'll pay Ivan $10 million for compensation. I'll send another $10 million to mother-in-law as a betrothal gift, and on top of that, send $10 million worth of birthday gifts to Grandpa. A grand total of $30 million. If I can't achieve that, I'll be willing to divorce Selina. Are you crazy? That much money in one month? You won't have enough even if you sold yourself. Joan was scared witless. She guessed that. Jack must have been pushed over the limit and started talking nonsense. You can't be serious, right? Didn't I tell you not to boast? $30 million. It's not $3,000. Selina was also reprimanding him anxiously. Don't worry, honey, I really should. Prove to the Taylors that I'm worthy of marrying you. Jack moved his hand and caressed Selina's beautiful cheeks. I won't let anything separate me from you and our daughter. Selina's heart was touched. At that moment, she felt confident that Jack was not lying to her. All right, I'll believe you. In the end, Selina nodded. Of course, Jack, if you manage to do so, the Taylor family will not only acknowledge your identity. We can also have your in-laws, Selina, and your entire family, including your mother, to move into Taylor residence. The old man contemplated for a moment, then said, By then, Selina can also resume her work in Taylor Group. All right, you have a deal, Jack agreed immediately. Brat, you're really good at boasting. I'd like to see how embarrassing it'll be for you should you fail to produce the money by then. Ivan took 2 steps forward and glared at Jack. Jack took out a stick of cigarette and casually lit it. He took a deep breath. And what if I manage to do it? If I fail, I'll roll my way out of the gates of Taylor residence. Should I succeed, however, you'll have to kneel and apologize to Selina. How does that sound? After all, in the past 5 years, you've done quite the harm. Sure. Listen up, everyone. This is a promise between me and this brat. Since he wants to embarrass himself, then I can only oblige. When the time comes, we'll all bear witness to how he rolls from this gate, all the way out. Remember, you're not walking out, but roll. Ivan laughed out loud. It's already a miracle for this trash to come back alive. Producing $30 million in a month? Dream on. Brother Ivan, don't worry, we're not deaf. We heard it clearly. We'll be your witnesses. Cecilia crossed her hands over her chest and gave Jack a condescending look. It's been 5 years. After finally coming back and managed to buy some clothes for your mother and wife, you chose to get some imitation items. Your clothing screams of poverty. I refuse to believe that you can produce $30 million. You're right. I think he knows that he's unworthy of Selina and decided to go all out with his bluff. When the time comes, he can only shamefully roll out of Taylor residence. Look at him. If he can earn $30 million in 1 month, then can't I easily set $100 million as a small goal? Quite a number of the Taylor family members started laughing. There were quite a lot of people present. They were mostly working in the Taylor Group under the employ of Ivan Taylor. They naturally intended to curry favor for him. Jack, you've said it yourself. I'm waiting for your $10 million as a betrothal gift. When the time comes, don't blame me for being merciless, Fiona reminded him after contemplating it. Fiona, have you gone crazy, thinking of money? Do you really think that he can come up with that amount for his betrothal gift? Ivan smiled. Just $10 million as a betrothal. Gift will allow me to marry Selina. I'll pay $10 million. Let her marry me. If that's insufficient, I'm fine with $50 million. What to do when I'm not lacking money? Right at that moment, a man of stout physique walked in as he laughed loudly, followed by a group of bodyguards.